Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy KAIO and I'm back again this time to give you another One Piece video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my review of One Piece chapter 1008. Now before I address the greatness that happened right at the end of the chapter, when I say greatness, I don't mean action-packed because it wasn't, but it's what we got that can be leading into the next chapter, which implies that greatness. But the stuff that I want to address first is of course Odin, which was at the start of the chapter, because at the end of the last chapter we saw what we thought was Odin, but none of us believed it. There was a small group that believed it could have been Odin because of the way that Oda works with his deaths and everything. And I said that'd be the wrong idea, be the wrong thing to do, because it would just take away everything that happened in the flashback, because it was just so great and so epic the way that Odin went out. And I love Odin. I'd love for Odin to be alive. But what makes him so badass is just the way that he went out at the end. So I'm glad it wasn't that. You had the group that believed it could have been someone like Katarina Devon. I as well mentioned that in my review. I said that it could be Katarina Devon, but then why would she be there unless it's the same sort of similar effect as Dressrosa? Because obviously Blackbeard wanting the devil fruits, and you get where I'm going with that one. Anyway, so it wasn't her. And there is one character I forgot to mention, which I'm quite surprised I didn't bring up, which is Onimaru. A lot of people, it was made between, you know, Onimaru and the other character that I'm going to be telling you about in a second, but Onimaru was a big candidate because the smoke effect that was happening around Odin's legs when he opened up the doors and he was just standing there. And yeah, I can see it, I really can, but also because of what Kawamatsu said, saying, no, it couldn't have been, like, because he saw someone, but he's like, no, it couldn't have been, but that's because I thought it could have actually been Toki, and then going from there. But I don't think that was the whole person that they were thinking about. He was obviously talking about Odin, but then who actually healed them? Why would, as the person that's Odin, be healing them? That would just be so weird. If it was him, he would have just killed them anyway, but it wasn't. So I generally do believe there was someone there, and I do generally think it was Toki or Hiyori that actually healed them. I'm more edging towards Hiyori now, to be fair. Not really Toki, but you know what? There's still that small glimmer there. But yeah, Onimaru, yeah, it was between him and this other person. Now, the other person that I did say that I think it is, and I'm glad I was right, and yeah, I'm glad it was him because he's that sick, twisted person, was Kanjuro. It was indeed Kanjuro that actually was fooling them using Odin, because if it was anyone, it would be him. And even Ashura Doji knew straight away. He called it out straight up. While the others, I get it. You're going to be tearful when you look at like Kinemon and Kiku and all that, because it's the guy that you followed and loved for so many years right in front of you. And that can happen when you're in that moment. Emotions fly. You could see that when Ashura Doji was saying that it's not Odin, Odin died that day, and explaining what Toki said about, you know, you can only go into the future. And if that was the case, then the truth would still be how it is now. It's not going to be any different because Odin died that day. And then you can see it starts taking effect on people, and they suddenly start to realise very slowly, but they still don't want to believe it. And then you see Odin draw his sword and go to actually try and kill Kinemon, and that's until Ashura Doji gets in the way and says, look, and slices like a little, or like a chunk of like skin out of Odin, and said, well, where's the blood? So he just proves more and more that it's not Odin, and then they realise it is Kanjuro. And I like the way, do you know what, it's a very great like drawing that Oda done, like very great panel, is where he's like, no, I'm Odin, and the way he's standing there with like both swords in his hand, like laughing. That's a great panel. Anyway, so as things are starting to go on, and you know, we know it's obviously Kanjuro, and Kanjuro's admitting that this is his final act, that he knows he's going to die, but he's going to take them out with him. So that then goes into the whole play situation that Oda's doing here, where you have, I can't remember exactly the right term of what Kanjuro is, but it's kind of like the whole sort of clown situation. It's not a clown, but you know, the whole makeup and that, but it seems like it's heading that way. And I did always say that I believe that the Akazaya 9 would fall and they will die, because I feel like Oda's been foreshadowing that for ages, especially with the graves. So I think it has been a long time coming that they know that they're not going to be getting out of this alive. So I feel like it'll be Kanjuro versus Kinemon, and I'm not sure about Ashura Doji right now. I'm guessing he's the one that caused the explosion, because I don't think Kanjuro would have done that, unless maybe, but it seems more like it was Ashura Doji from the way that it happened. So that's why I'm saying it looked like Ashura Doji caused the explosion. Whether he's dead or not, no one knows, but Doji was MVP of like this entire chapter. We will have to wait and see if he actually is dead or alive, but the way it's going, I'm starting to, you know, believe that they are going to fall one by one. And then you've got Jack that's now come into the equation, and they're all starting to split up. So it's like, in a way, the Animal Kingdom pirates are getting their way, but I'm sure it's actually for Kinemon to get to Kanjuro, and that's where the final act will take place. The rest are all going to do what they need to do. Most likely will die. I'd say about 80 to 90% chance they will die, because they're ready just to, you know, go down fighting and die. And I originally thought that Kaido would be the one, but this is starting to make more sense, and I like this way a lot more personally. So I'm very happy the way that Oda's going with this. And yeah, I can just see it being Kanjuro versus Kinemon. I think Kinemon will get the win, but I think there will be a decisive blow that Kanjuro will cause to Kinemon and probably kill him. But then I always did say I've got this very strange feeling that if, and maybe if, that Kinemon may be the only one of the Akazai 9 left to live. But it's a very, very slim chance, I believe. That's just the way I see it going. Because out of all of them, I love a lot of the Akazai 9. There's quite a few that are my favourites. Unfortunately, one of them just blew up, but we're not sure if he's dead. But I do like Doji. I like Kinemon. I like Kiku, Kawamatsu. They're all good in their own way. And obviously, Cat Viper and Dogstorm, or Inarashi, Nekomamushi, whatever you want to call them. Either way, they're all good in their own way. But I feel like they know that their time's coming. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that part, and then we'll come back to that when Oda's ready, and then we can discuss it more and see where they're at when it comes to it, and roughly how things are going on, and if it looks like, yeah, they are going to die, or if they are going to probably win their battles and then die. That could be a cool way to end it. So we've got a little bit of stuff with Momonosuke and everything, and him sort of saying about Luffy's weakened, but he's fine. But that was only because of his haki. So I just want to address that. The only reason that Momonosuke said that, he's only greatly weakened because he had no haki. And then, funny enough, when we actually get to the rooftop, where I'm going to talk about the greatness now, Luffy's fine. You see Luffy puff out, he's like, oh yeah, I'm back. Yeah, so, yeah, cool. But the others are having issues with Kaido and Big Mom, and I will get to the Kaido stuff in a minute, don't worry, I know. But Zoro and all that are saying their attacks just ain't really doing anything, like, to them. Like, it feels like, as much as we keep attacking them, they're just tanking the attacks. But when you see Big Mum, who's like ready to like kill them, and then you've got Kaido next to her, his hybrid form is exactly the way that I thought it would look. It looks awesome. I really, really like it. They're ready to go. I feel like it's a good thing that Luffy's back up. It is really good, because even Zoro's having trouble. I'm not saying that Luffy would be any, like, you know, better and like any worse for trouble, but he is better because of the level that he's on. I feel like he's not far above all of them, but he's at that thing where I'd say, if you were to say like Kaido and Big Mom are there, I'd say Luffy's like there, like near enough touching like their level in terms of how like he would fare off against them compared to the rest. So with Luffy being back in the game now, getting ready to go, I'm happy, because I was thinking, oh, what's going to happen here? Are we going to get a chapter where the rest of the group are going to try and fight Kaido and Big Mom, and that things are going to go wrong, and then Luffy comes like right at the last second? He technically did come right at the last second, but in a different way. The rest of the group are fine, and Kaido and Big Mom are just there waiting. And it's just so funny the way that they're saying they've got to split them up. I did say in my predictions video, they've got to be split up. And I think, if anything, Big Mom's going to fall down. I think there'll be this big hole in the ground. Zoro manages to slice open the roof where Big Mom will fall down, and then the rest of them go down, because the way it's setting up to be is that it looks like it's going to be Luffy versus Kaido, just like I've been saying for ages. And I feel like the rest of them will have to deal with Big Mom, because when you look at it this way, Kid and Law, from my knowledge, and I think from what we've all seen, they don't have Rio, and they're supposed to fight Big Mom. And then you've also got Killer, which is kind of like on the same boat here, but probably is a little bit weaker. And then you've got Zoro, and obviously you've got Marco as well, but I feel like Marco will still be dealing with them. So it could be Zoro versus Big Mom here, because he's the only person with the swords, and the only other person apart from Luffy and a couple of others that would have that Rio. So it would make sense that probably the rest of the group are going to go down, and Zoro's probably going to say to Luffy, like, Luffy, don't you dare lose. And Luffy will be like, no, I'm fine, I'm going to be good. So that's the way I can see this going here, and I'd be very happy with that. Zoro versus Big Mom, this could be great. Like, this could be very, very great for Zoro, because if Zoro has a big battle and he wins against Big Mom, then his bounty is going to skyrocket. Like, it only makes sense that Luffy and Zoro, because Zoro's the first mate of Luffy and Luffy's technically the 5th emperor, he's going to be within that billion range. And by taking out a Yonko, this is great for Zoro. And I think it's a great thing for the Zoro fans as well, because you might not be getting what you wanted against Kaido, but you're getting it for Big Mum instead. I am so fine with this. If this was to happen, it's the way it's going to go, that Zoro actually fights Big Mum and wins. I am cool with that. And it just makes so much sense. It really does. Because when you also think about it this way, the only way that Capone said you can damage Big Mum is by getting her upset and sort of like losing her mind and all that. But what if Zoro's able to do damage with Enma because of his Rio? We saw he could cut Kaido. Why can't he cut Big Mum? That's the thing. And that's the way I can see it going. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But going back to what happened on the rooftops, I kind of slid away from that. But I love the way that Kaido addresses Luffy exactly. Like, his eyes, like, you'd think he'd be after, like, Law because of what Law done. But he wants Luffy. You can see he's gunning for Luffy the most out of everyone. And Kid even says fighting them two together is like hell, or being in hell. That's the way that he sees it. So they need to split them up, taking them out of the equation again. But Luffy versus Kaido, you can see is happening, because right at the bottom, you can see that Kaido's saying, you never lose that light in your eye, Straw Hat. And that Luffy's like, you know what? We can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to kick Kaido's butt. So I'm currently editing right now, and there was something I completely forgot to mention. When I was talking about the rooftop stuff, and I mentioned about how Luffy was like really excited to be going into this battle against Kaido again because, you know, he's fine. The bit that I forgot to mention after Kid says like fighting Big Mum and Kaido at the same time is like being in hell, Luffy mentions that that suits him and that he's been to hell a few times like already, so it's not really going to bother him. And that's when Kaido mentions about the whole, you know, oh, you've still got that light in your eye, Straw Hat. I can't believe I forgot that. I said about how, you know, Luffy's looking forward to it, but I didn't mention the epic words that he said. But you know what, I'm recording now and I'm chucking it in, so yeah, back to the video. It is coming, guys. Luffy versus Kaido is coming. I am excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait, because it means we're getting that much closer to Gear 5 as well. We know Gear 5 is coming because Oda confirmed it. I say give it maybe 2 chapters at max. If we stay along, maybe 2 or 3, we will get Gear 5. Gear 5 is coming, and I think, yep, Zoro versus Big Mum with the rest of the group is going to happen. That's the way I'm seeing this going. So, to be fair, this chapter overall, the first half of the chapter, it was good, but it was nothing amazing. Nothing like changing, because we knew it was Kanjuro. We knew it wasn't Oden. It was going to go that way. If it was Oden, then it would be a lot more different. But because it's Kanjuro, it's good, but it wasn't spectacular. This stuff, on the other hand, is where it's going to get going. Don't get me wrong, and don't get it twisted. All the chapters we've had previous compared to what's just happened, I have thoroughly enjoyed. I have enjoyed them, but we're getting to the good stuff now. Like, we're getting to like the Yonko versus, you know what I'm going to call it? Yonko versus Yonko, Kaido versus Luffy. It's going down. I'm backing my boy. I am backing my boy Luffy. I am backing Zoro. I can't wait, and I'm so glad that Oda's not on break next week. I am so glad. I'm excited for this chapter that's coming up now. It was great. Anyways, guys, so with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure to smash this video with a thumbs up if you liked it. It helps me get into the algorithm. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you think of the chapter? Make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys never ever miss a post, and then I will see you guys for the next video. So until then, see ya.